Hey guys, Ponce here. Today I will be covering what Riot is sort of talking about in terms of their plans for the support role in Season 4 slash Preseason 4. It looks like they're sort of sequentially releasing more and more information on the various systems they're updating. Um, so the other day, if you recall, I made a video on the changes, or the proposed changes to warding and vision. Today we're covering, or rather Riot is covering the support changes. So I'd like to remind everyone that none of this is on the public test or almost not available for testing yet. Who knows how much of this will actually make it into the game. But this is the direction they're kind of heading towards, and I think it's pretty interesting. If you want to read the actual announcement itself, the base information, without, not filtered through me, you're very much welcome to do that by clicking the link in the description below, and that'll take you to this post that you see right here, the one that I'm looking at. But yeah, I'm just going to kind of go over what I think are the main points here and sort of potential impacts that I can see onto the game. It's a lot of interesting stuff. So yeah, let's get started. It looks like, yeah, well, they're trying to do a lot with the support class. To sum everything up, they're saying here is that they kind of want supports to scale better. That they don't really find it, and I'm sure most of you guys don't find it particularly satisfying that support just doesn't have any gold and just kind of hovers around and doesn't like it can have a lot of impact in certain ways, but there's room for improvement. Let's put it that way. But basically, I'm just going to read over it because this whole part here is quite important. So I'm just going to read over this part. But what they're looking to change is increasing gold income for players who don't last hit, introducing bonus EXP in jungle and lane for players who fall significantly behind their teammates. So that's a little bit of stuff that doesn't have something to do exclusively with support, but it certainly helps support. Capping possible expenditures on wards per player. This is the thing I talked about in the ward video the other day. I'll probably link that in the description as well if you're interested and you never caught that video. But and also the whole thing about trinkets. Again, trinkets was mentioned the other day, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. And they're looking to increase income in several forms for supports. Masteries that grant bonus gold to players in a shared lane, improvements to our GP5 items that reward effective support play, and increased assist rewards for players who get significantly more assists than kills. So they talk about the whole assist streak thing that they'll be introducing next in this little next section here. But basically, how it works is what they want is people who get nothing but assists start getting more gold for every assist after a set amount. So let's say I get my 80 carry 2 kills on the third kill or whatever it is. I start getting more gold for the assist, and this assist string is broken if you ever kill anyone. So it sort of rewards that play style that's sort of developed where you could in theory take the kill as a support, but you don't. You just kind of sit there and wait for the 80 carry to give it. You basically feed him the kill. It's going to reward that kind of play style, which is interesting, and I really like that. It I know a lot of time I'll intentionally just take a kill as a support because I'm, feeling rather belligerent or I really need gold. It's like, I'm just going to take this one. I go bam, and, I headbutt someone with Alistair. I kill them. Now it's actually, going to really discourage you from doing that if it didn't already. So it's a bit of sort of player skill thing they're introducing. Make sure, you always give the kill. So that's a neat thing. Incidentally, this change will probably also affect other things like tanky junglers or tanky top lanes because they don't tend to get a lot of kills. Though they do get some kills, a lot more than support. So I can see that string being broken fairly often. But you might see, the tanky champions starting to do things a lot more like support. So they're just kind of denying themselves kills to, keep that support string going. So it's an interesting change. I think I kind of like that. Aside from that, they talk about the new ways through items which supports will be getting gold. They use sort of three examples here. What they're looking at is they're going to have several branches of gold income items for supports. You can only pick one of these. So you can only have one type of an additional gold income item. But let me just go over sort of the examples they give here, and you'll have a better idea of what I'm talking about. So first off, Philo Stone, the new upgraded Philo Stone. It grants GP5, but whenever someone near you kills a minion, so like your 80 carries doing all the last hitting, you're going to get a portion of the gold as well. Well, not a portion, but you get some bonus gold as well. It's not like you're siphoning it out of him. I don't think anyway, because that would be terrible. Um, so yeah, now you have even more reason to be angry at your AD carry if he sucks at last hitting. if you buy the Philo Stone. Then again, if he sucks at last hitting, you notice you just don't buy the Philo Stone, I guess. Next, the other type is they call it Executioner's Emblem, which executes a minion below 200 health and grants gold to both you and the nearest ally when you last hit. Your ally gains a small bonus gold bonus on top of this. This effect can happen up to twice a minute. So this is sort of interesting. Basically, it's like a mini smite that the support would, in theory, have. You know, he just hits the button, and then the AD carry gets the full gold amount plus bonus gold. So you're actually, by last hitting every once in a while, giving um, your AD carry or whatever more money. So he's not going to get pissed off at you for sniping the cannon minion or something. This would actually be really funny if it worked on Baron. It won't. I'm pretty sure it won't. It probably won't work on neutral minions and stuff, but it could. But I could see someone screws up the smite, and then suddenly support becomes one of the best stealing things, because usually when someone misses a smite, it's usually very close to dead. It's like within 200 HP, so you probably end up seeing a lot of support stealing Barons when the guy screws up the smite. So that'd be kind of funny. I hope that actually makes it in. I think that would be hilarious, but I don't think it will. We'll see, though. We'll see. Lastly, we have Spell Thief's Blade. Makes it so that your spells and basic attacks against enemy champions grant you gold. It cannot affect the same target more than once every 10 seconds, and last hitting an enemy disables this effect for 10 seconds. So that's actually kind of like that thing in the utility tree, when you auto attack an enemy champion, you get gold. I really like that support. It's like my favorite, or that the utility mastery. It's like my favorite thing as a support, just to kind of be annoying and go, I got my 3 gold. I got my 3 gold. If any of you guys have watched my stream before, I'm sure you've heard me just get all excited every time I get that 3 gold. But this actually complements my personal support playstyle the best. I would think, because I play it fairly aggressively, which I'm going to get into a little bit. Sort of support playstyle. But yeah, so these are the 3 examples I gave of an additional gold source progression path. You can't stack all 3 of these and get stupid amounts of gold. Apparently what happened is, if you read this thread, 2 professional League of Legends players came in. It was a Hacker V2 and Midlife or Madlife or Madlife? I can't remember what his name was, but I think it's a Korean support guy. And basically they got all the gold items and then just completely broke the game. So that probably would have been funny to see, but we're not going to be seeing that because, yeah, you don't want to break the game. Next, we have right now then here sort of talking about what their goals are and what they're trying to accomplish with all this. So I'm going to read off some of the parts that I thought were particularly important. What they're looking to do is to have supports as, quote, a balanced support champion will be splitting their time between warding, helping allies push lanes to take towers, and participating in combat to save allies and kill enemies. So that's what you're supposed to be sort of doing right now, but because of the gold limitations, you can't do it as well. Because I'm sure if you guys have ever played support, I'm sure sort of the frustration of it, of wanting to carry a team when you're doing well personally, but you just can't quite do it. And I'm sure supports won't be like hyper carrying teams even in season 4 with all the changes. But your ability to do so will probably be, I think what they're looking to do at the very least is, increase that substantially. I mean, I can think of 2 examples off the top of my head in the last, I don't know, 2 years or whatever, where I actually have sort of pseudo hyper carried games as a support. So it's an extremely rare thing. It's dependent on your warding being immaculate, your positioning being perfect, setting up fights absolutely perfectly, and only a certain subset of supports can even do this. I recall doing it once with Janna with perfect ults and stuff, and another time with getting to be sort of a pseudo-fed Alistair and becoming so tanky, and landing continuous 5-man pulverizes, and when things go perfect for you, you can sort of carry as support, even if the rest of your team is losing. but it's rare. So I mean, if we can get to that kind of stage more often, I think that's a pretty good change. It'll be very nice. This is another thing that Riot mentions. This is a very important point, and it's really good they realize this. Well, of course they're going to realize this. It's their damn game, and this is pretty obvious. But I'm going to read this off here. We're also taking a close look at core supports. Janna, Sona, Nami, Soraka, Lulu, Taric, etc. Champions designed specifically as supports have historically been balanced to have negligible income. So if left alone with all that gold, they'll either become overtuned mages or replaced, or be. This is the more dangerous part, I think. Replaced completely by non-support champions who can outscale them in damage once they hit the mid game. Um, yeah. Like if support has more access to gold, then the natural thought for a lot of people might be, well, why don't I stick something that has damage in the support role because now they're getting money anyway. So just stick another an AP caster or maybe even a second AD carrier or some sort of pure tank kind of thing. That's definitely always a danger. Now the other thing they're talking about is to prevent this kind of thing is helping uh, what's it called, the support scale in different ways. I think it was mentioned in the vision thing briefly, but they're looking to do things. For example, I'll just read this out again. For example, the bonus AD on Janna's shield and the ability to be granted or speed granted by Nami's passive will now scale with ability power. Our hope is that support champions in shared lanes can select AP or CDR items they find appealing. So like aside from just gold, giving ways for supports to actually scale with items that are not just pure aura items or whatever. So I think that's going to be a necessary change unless you want bottom lane flooded with non-supports. Let's see now. Oh, they also this is an interesting point. On post number 20, uh, they sort of talk about. Someone asks about the potential like kill lanes taking over. Um, like this person mentions Jarvan, Leona. Um, these lanes potentially becoming too powerful with extra gold. Now, the right response here is that they're looking at it closely, but in terms of internal testing, it hasn't been that much of an issue, which would have been my initial guess as to how this is going to work out as well. Like, I don't see extra gold from weird sources helping out kill lanes because sort of the kill lane gimmick was right off the bat, right at level 1 typically, they were, or at very low levels with minimal gold amounts, they could just, well, kill the other lane very quickly. And their gold income source was more so not from having it come, look, so having gold come from weird sources probably won't help that scale more. What kill lanes did is they killed the enemy lane, right? So they were denying gold, and then their gold income source was actually killing people. It was less so about last hitting, though. I mean, last hitting is obviously a thing. So this extra stuff, I don't foresee pushing kill lanes into some sort of crazy always bottom lane thing, but it'd be interesting to see how it works out. But my gut instinct says gonna, it's not gonna do that much. Um, Overall, kind of my feelings about this is, yeah, it looks like, well, even now, right now in season 3. The ideal support is very active. He's very proactive in the lane. He's sort of like the leader of bottom lane. He's the guy who thinks about it, and AD carry is just like the muscle. He doesn't have to think about things. He's just sort of almost like I consider him like a Pokemon or a henchman or something. They come in after the brain guys come up with a plan. That's the ideal situation, at least from my experience. There's nothing I find more frustrating in a bottom lane than a support who sits back and like takes on, for some reason, it seems to be pervasive that there's this notion that this support is sort of this passive, almost kind of submissive role, and you don't have an active hand in the lane, which is the absolute worst thing you could be doing most of the time. I mean, there's obviously, context is important, but um, it's the support who actually needs to be the one dictating how the lane is going to flow, the flow of the lane, basically. When you're sitting back as a support and not doing anything, you're just kind of all you're doing is leeching EXP from your AD carry. You may as well just not be there. But I think that what they're trying to push people towards is that ideal playstyle where supports are more active in what they do, um, sort of reinforcing it through actual game incentives, or rather mechanics, and items and things that are actually telling you as a support, no, you don't have to sit back. As a support, you're the important guy in the lane. Do your shit. In terms of the early game, that's what I find is probably going to be very important. And yeah, scaling into the mid and late game, that'll be great. I'm really looking forward to see how that turns out. I'll be testing it as soon as it becomes available, so you guys can look forward to that. I'll probably link to that stuff when it becomes available, even in this video. And I'll see you guys around. Hope you found this informative, and I haven't rambled on too long. I'll see you guys around. Goodbye.